Students, in the last lecture we have already started this chapter, the last lesson. It is written by Alfonso Daudet, and we have already discussed about this chapter. There is a boy which is uh, which is running for school, and he is late for school, and he anticipates that his teacher M. Himmel will be scolding him. But when he reaches the school, he sees that all the students have already uh, settled down. He also tries to settle down, and the back benches which were empty earlier, he sees that there are village people sitting over there. One of the person whose description is given is the horser. He's wearing spectacles and looking into the pages. Yes, the picture of the horser is given over here. So now let us continue. While I was wondering about it all, M. Hamel mounted his chair and in the same grave and gentle tone which he had used to me, said, "My children, this is the last lesson I shall give you. The order has come from Berlin to teach only German in the schools of Alsace and Lorraine. The new master comes tomorrow. This is your last French lesson. I want you to be very attentive." So, in the earlier part of the chapter, that is the description part, we have seen that Germany has captured the French areas of Alsace and Lorraine, and now these both are in the hands of German people. Yes, so now M. Hamel has got an order from the higher authorities that now only German will be taught in the schools, and French will not be taught from tomorrow. So that's why the teacher is addressing the class that this is our last lesson. This is our last lesson. So please kindly pay attention. What a thunderclap these words were to me. So now the author is writing his emotions, that this was like a thunder. You know what is thunder? Vijli. We call in Hindi. So lightning, you also call it as lightning. So these words were like a lightning to the student. Oh, the wretches! That was what they had put up at the town hall. So, when the author was coming to the school, he had seen that on the bulletin board there were many people who were gathered to see the news, and now he understands that this were the news on the town hall bulletin board. My last French lesson? Why, I hardly knew how to write. I should never learn any more. I must stop there. Then, oh, how sorry I was for not learning my lessons, for seeking birds' eggs, or going sliding on the Sar. My books that had seemed such a nuisance a while ago, so heavy to carry, my grammar and my history of the saints, were old friends now that I couldn't give up. And M. Himmel too, the idea that he was going away, that I should never see him again, made me forget all about his ruler and how cranky he was. So this para is all about the emotions of the writer about the last lesson that he is going to study today. So the writer is thinking that he hardly knew how to write, and for him when he was late for the school, and when he was coming to the school, he was thinking that this grammar is so boring, so nuisance, and this history is all boring. But now when he when he gets the information that this is going to be the last lesson that he is going to study, and after that now he will not be studying the French anymore. So now for him this all becomes very interesting, and he has used a line for that. um, were old friends now that I couldn't give up. That means just like old friends, this all have become the old friends, and he doesn't want to give up them. And M. Hemal too. He likes his professor also, likes his teacher also, and he does not want the teacher to go away. So now he forgot all about the ruler, the and how cranky the teacher was. Let us read the next para. Oh man, it was in honor of this last lesson that he had put on his fine Sunday clothes, and now I understood why the old men of the village were sitting there in the back of the room. It was because they were sorry too that they had not gone to school more. It was their way of thanking our master for his 40 years of faithful service, and of showing their respect for the country that was theirs no more. So now the child understands about about the fact that why the village people were sitting on the back of the room, and why M. Hemal had worn such good clothes, and it was because it was the last lesson to be given by M. Hemal, and he had given a faithful service of 40 years, and the village people were there to thank him for all that as a teacher he had done for the school and also for the nation. And now the nation was not theirs. Okay, let us proceed. Why I was thinking of all this, I heard my name called. It was my turn to recite. What would I not have given to be able to say that dreadful rule for the participle, although very loud and clear, and without one mistake? But I got mixed up on the first words and stood there, holding on to my desk, my heart beating and not daring to look up. So now what happened? It was author's turn to recite the rule of the participle, and while reciting the rule, the author made a mistake and mixed up the first words. So he was very ashamed of the mistake that he had made. And because of that, his heart was beating very fast, and he was not even daring to look up at the teacher. He was looking down. I heard Emil say to me, I won't scold you, little French. You must feel bad enough. You must feel bad enough. See how it is. Every day we have said to ourselves, Bah, I have plenty of time. I will learn it tomorrow. And now you see where we have come out. Ah, that's the great trouble with Alsace. She puts off learning till tomorrow. Now those fellows out there will have the right to say to you, how is it you pretend to be Frenchmen and yet you can neither speak nor write your own language? But you are not the worst. Poor little French. We have all a great deal to reproach ourselves with. So now M. Hemal, the teacher, is uh, is talking to the student that I won't scold you today. You yourself has to feel bad about this. So now our province has been occupied by our enemies. So they will be having the right to say that you You French people do not even know your own language, and you cannot even write your own language. So, this is how it will happen. Your parents were not anxious enough to have you learn. They preferred to put you to work on a farm or at mines so as to have a little more money. And I have been to blame also. Have I not often sent you to water my flowers instead of learning your lessons? And when I wanted to go fishing, did I not just give you a holiday? So now the teacher is saying that it is not only your fault, even your parents are under the fault. They wanted some money, and so they put you, that is the little boy, to work in the farm. And also the teacher is blaming himself that he had also asked him to water the flowers instead of him, and when he wanted to go for fishing he had given the holiday to the students. This is how teacher is feeling. Then from one thing to another, and Himmel went on to talk of the French language, saying that it was the most beautiful language in the world, the clearest, the most logical, that we must guard it among us and never forget it. Because when a people are enslaved, as long as they hold fast to their language, it is as if they had the key to their prison. Then he opened a grammar and read us our lesson. I was amazed to see how well I understood it. All he said seemed so easy, so easy. I think too fast. I think too that I had never listened so carefully, and that he had never explained everything with so much patience. It seemed almost as if the poor man wanted to give us all he knew before going away, and to put it all into our heads at one stroke. So now, the teacher is saying that French language is very good because he loves his own language. Yes, and he wants to guard it and let and people never forget about that language. So this is what the teacher is saying. And then the teacher starts to explain one of the lessons, and the boy is listening to the teacher. And today, when the last lesson was being taught, he found the lesson very easy. He found the explanation also easy and worth, because it was the last lesson. After that, um, after that, German will be taught in the school. That were the orders given from the ahead department. After the grammar, we had a lesson in writing. That day, M. Hemal had new copies for us, written in beautiful round hand. France Alsace. So now that day, M. Hemal bought new copies of the lesson for the students, and where beautifully it was written France Alsace and France Alsace. We will end our lecture. Thank you.